Good afternoon, everyone. Lovely crowd. We'll talk about a tough set of acts to follow. The Heights Jays, my esteemed board chair, and the All-City musical performers. And just in case that didn't provide enough pressure, I am fully cognizant of the fact that it is I who stands between you and Jane Pauley. But I do hope you'll bear with me while I share with you, dear community stakeholders, the highlights of the Foundation's 99th year of innovative philanthropy. This past year has been an extraordinary year for the Foundation. We made the first $10 million grant in our history, and not just one, but two of them. Altogether, we authorized some 3,100 separate grants, totaling $91 million, the largest dollar figure for grants authorized in our history. In addition to grant making, we engaged in extremely successful political advocacy at the local and state level. We acted as a convener to establish several vitally important alliances. We continue to play a key role in various high-impact partnerships, and we put a great deal of wind behind the excellent efforts of our local political, nonprofit, and corporate leaders on a wide array of projects to help our shared dreams and visions for the region become a reality. So allow me now to provide the briefest possible overview of our wonderful staff's excellent work over the course of this past year. In the area of economic development, first and foremost, the Foundation continued to be the leading local funder of Cleveland's entrepreneurial ecosystem with nearly $3 million worth of grants to BioEnterprise, Nortech, Team Neo, the Greater Cleveland Partnership, and Jumpstart, etc. last year. Over the past 10 years, the Foundation has granted out some $85 million to support economic development in Northeast Ohio. This is a very rare thing for a community foundation to do. Most community foundations don't fund economic development at all. But we view the economy as the cornerstone of the city's future success, so we take our role in this area very seriously. In the last year, we invested in on-the-ground economic development programs, such as a county-wide microfinance initiative that we launched in partnership with Huntington Bank and the Business of Good Foundation. Thank you, Dan Walsh. Since its inception, this program, run by the Economic and Community Development Institute, has made $1.3 million in loans, all under $50,000, to 30 businesses that have created 76 jobs. 30% of these businesses are located in the city of Cleveland. We also saw significant progress in one of our long-term macro-scale economic development initiatives, advanced energy. The Foundation, the county commissioners of Cuyahoga, Lake, Geauga, and Ashtabula counties, and other community partners have a vision for Northeast Ohio as home to the nation's first freshwater offshore wind farm and the heart of a job-generating offshore wind industry for the Midwest. As a result, we created LEADCO, the Lake Erie Energy Development Corporation, which I chair. It's a public-private partnership whose mission is to promote and develop offshore wind power. This year, our patience and persistence have begun to pay off, and the potential for region-wide impact is enormous. LEADCO won a $4 million competitive grant from the Department of Energy to develop the technical and financial plans for a 6-giant turbine, 18-megawatt wind farm off Cleveland in Lake Erie. If we perform and win the second round of this competition, we will receive an additional $48 million from the Department of Energy, which would put us well on the way to achieving our goal of economically and environmentally positioning Cleveland as that green city on the blue lake powered by wind. Our new convention center will begin giving public tours in 2 days, and the Global Center for Health Innovation will open this fall. We're proud of the fact that many years ago, the foundation provided the grants that funded the feasibility studies for both of these projects, which will change the face of downtown. And we applaud the great work done by the city, the county, and the Greater Cleveland Partnership to create these new important civic institutions. We also funded a planning grant that supported the successful celebration of our treasured West Side Market Centennial Year. This multi-month celebration brought people from within and outside the region to one of our most vibrant neighborhoods. In the area of workforce, over the last year, the foundation convened a series of meetings with the major regional hospital systems and universities at their request, and invested in a planning grant to discern the future healthcare workforce needs of the sector, and we'll meet those needs. In a related effort, the foundation continued to advance 2 major projects, both related to economic development and workforce. The Newbridge Center for Arts and Technology, which, as you know, is a dual adult training and after-school arts enrichment program for at-risk youth, and the Evergreen Cooperative Companies. Newbridge, created 3 years ago by the foundation, University Hospitals, Cleveland Clinic, Key Bank, the Kelvin and Eleanor Smith Foundation, J.P. Morgan Chase, and the Payne Fund, will soon graduate its 3rd class of healthcare workers, 14 newly trained clinical phlebotomists and 12 new pharmacy techs. These graduates will join the ranks of 25 Newbridge-trained healthcare workers already serving at area hospitals and pharmacies. This year, the foundation and its partners opened our 3rd evergreen company, Green City Growers, located in the central neighborhood. It's the largest urban commercial greenhouse in the United States. The 3 evergreen companies now employ a total of 78 people, many of them prisoner reentrants who are having a very difficult time finding employment. We hope to open many more of these for-profit, employee-owned companies in the future to provide employment and stability in our core city residential neighborhoods. We also gave 2 grants totaling $450,000 to Global Cleveland, an organization focused on attracting and retaining high-skilled immigrants and U.S. residents to Northeast Ohio. This is a really important effort to address the urgent need for skilled human capital in the high-growth industries driving our local economy. Finally, in the area of economic development, I'd like to mention the Foundation's award of $250,000 grant to Gay Games 9, forming a partnership that makes us the top sponsor and the first presenting sponsor in the Games' 31-year history. The Foundation made this grant not only because the Games will attract 30,000 visitors to our city and thus contribute to our economy, or because we hope to develop a gay-friendly reputation for Cleveland that will enable us to attract highly talented LGBT citizens for the future. We also made this grant because we view gay rights as a social justice issue in keeping with the Foundation's almost 100-year history of promoting civil rights for all of this nation's citizens. We are very proud to have our name associated with this exciting competition. In the arts, our $10 million grant to the Cleveland Orchestra represented our largest single grant to the arts, to any arts organization in our history. We were delighted that this grant will, among other things, help this iconic institution reach out to a new, broader audience, as it did last month during its highly successful Gordon Square residency. Through Engaging the Future, we are helping an additional 9 arts organizations, including the splendid Groundworks Dance Company, Karamu House, the Beck Center for the Arts, and MoCA, etc., to design and pilot new audience development initiatives and to focus their internal cultures on continuous innovation. Another major foundation initiative that has contributed to the artistic life of our region this past year is Creative Fusion. This program invites international performing and visual artists to spend 3 months in Cleveland, creating their work and connecting with citizens of all ages and backgrounds. Currently, 7 artists are making their home in our city. Typically, they represent countries inaccessible to many lower-income Clevelanders: Vietnam, Brazil, South Korea, Chile, Mexico, China, and India. Since we created this program 5 years ago, some 19,000 local artists, adults, and students have engaged with our global artists. This urban program brings the world to Cleveland's doorstep. In the area of neighborhood revitalization, one of the major initiatives that saw significant progress again this year was our Greater University Circle's Uptown District. Over the past 6 years, the Cleveland Foundation has invested more than $12 million in the entire Uptown District, targeting key institutional expansion and relocations, such as the Cleveland Institute of Art and with MoCA, transportation, accessible housing, and public amenities in order to ensure that it is a world-class, mixed-use, transit-oriented district. Phase 1 of Uptown was completed last year, just outside. 102 new residential apartments that are fully leased, a pedestrian-friendly 56,000 square feet of commercial space, which is 90% leased and consists of 6 new restaurants, the Barnes Noble Case Bookstore, and Constantino's grocery store. Outdoor patios will open and programming in the public spaces and on the alley will commence this month. The momentum from Phase 1 propelled us directly into Phase 2 of Uptown, which broke ground this year. The second phase includes 130 beds for Cleveland Institute of Art students, so they can reside right across from their studios, 43 market-rate apartments, 7,500 square feet of retail, and an upscale bowling alley. We expect planning for Uptown Phase 3 to begin this quarter. All of our work at Uptown is taking place in partnership with our anchor institution, public, private, and philanthropic partners who share an inclusive vision to integrate all of Greater University Circle's neighborhoods, Huff, Glenville, Fairfax, Little Italy, Buckeye Shaker, and East Cleveland, into this historic cultural center with all of its possibilities and opportunities. The Foundation's total investment in Greater University Circle in the past 6 years exceeds $40 million. Additionally, just last March, the Foundation gave a $5 million grant to Neighborhood Progress Incorporated, or NPI, to support its strategic plan to forge a new community development network for all of Cleveland's underserved neighborhoods. This network includes not only the Greater University Circle neighborhoods, but many other vital and diverse neighborhoods on both sides of the Cuyahoga River. The Foundation's support to NPI, a nonprofit we helped to create over 20 years ago, which has developed into a critical community revitalization organization, now totals nearly $50 million. Another aspect of our neighborhood revitalization work is the Neighborhood Connections program, which we created a decade ago. This program strengthens the networks among local residents to foster a sense of community and to stabilize neighborhoods. Its grassroots grant-making committee has authorized 2,000 grants with a collective value exceeding $6 million. These small but highly impactful grants, each under $5,000, fund neighborhood projects, events, and activities throughout Cleveland and East Cleveland. The need to invest in people as well as place is another reason why human services has been a priority area for the Foundation throughout its 99-year history. In addition to addressing issues like homelessness, hunger, special needs services, and more, the Foundation in 2007 created the MyCom initiative. MyCom, which stands for My Commitment, My Community, is a partnership with Cuyahoga County that targets the safety, health, and access to opportunity needs of youth in 6 Cleveland neighborhoods and the cities of Parma and Shaker Heights. Last year, the MyCom Summer Youth Employment Program provided jobs to some 2,000 young people. During 2011 and 12 school year, 5,500 youths participated in MyCom's after-school programs, and some 500 gang-involved youth participated in MyCom's gang abatement program, which yielded very significant results. Last but not least, we come, as always, to education, where with a huge amount of financial, intellectual, and political support from the Cleveland Foundation, the George Gunn Foundation, GCP, and Breakthrough Charter Schools, Mayor Jackson and CMSD CEO Eric Gordon, Christine Fowler-Mack, and the rest of the CMSD staff are restructuring an outmoded school system that's been failing our children for decades. But over the past 6 years, our foundation has invested more than $22 million in public school reimagination because we recognize that if we don't fix our schools, we won't fix our neighborhoods, create the next generation talent pool needed for our city to compete in the global economy of the future, and thereby improve the fiscal health of this city and region. Education is the source of the river that sustains our society. It is the single most important civil rights issue of our time. When we gathered here last year, Mayor Jackson had just announced the Cleveland Plan for Transforming Schools. As you know, the goal of the mayor's plan is to triple the number of students in high-performing schools and close all failing schools within 6 years. Since that time, together we've achieved unimaginable progress by putting in place the necessary public policy and financial conditions to implement the plan. An enormous amount of political advocacy led to a bipartisan majority in the State House enacting House Bill 525, which was signed into law by our highly supportive Governor, John Kasich, last July. And this bill has changed the playing field. It gives the district, aren't you glad, Eric, the flexibility it needs to intervene in low-performing schools, modernizes district employment practices, including eliminating seniority as a sole criterion in teacher staffing decisions, and promotes quality charter and charter district collaboration. Cleveland voters sealed the deal with the passage of a 15 mil school levy, the first successful levy attempt in 16 years, and the foundation is proud to have been a major funder of the levy campaign. Thank you. Thanks. The kids deserve it. With these accomplishments and the recent successful negotiation of a new groundbreaking contract with the teachers union, we're ready to execute on the plan. And thank you, teachers union. If we can do this, our work will have national significance. More importantly, its local significance will be incalculable. We will transform the life and the future of every child in this community. Yet our work in the field of education does not end with K through 12. In the realm of post-secondary education, this past year we gave our first $10 million grant ever, went to Case Western Reserve University for the construction of its new medical education building. We were especially delighted to make this grant in tandem with the Mount Sinai Foundation, hi Mitch, which co-announced with us its $10 million grant to this project. This new facility will become an enormous asset for public health in Cleveland and will help the university maintain and even enhance its already strong position among America's best medical schools. Subsequent to our recent $1.5 million grant to Cleveland State University in support of its partnership with NeoMed, we continue to work closely with them as they implement this innovative method to increase the pipeline of vitally needed primary care physicians for the region. It's the foundation's hope and vision that our own youth will be the future medical students in our leading medical education institutions, as well as our future engineers, scientists, artists, and entrepreneurs. That's why 2 years ago, the Cleveland Foundation and College Now Greater Cleveland teamed up to launch the Cleveland Foundation College Now Scholars Program, which provides personalized college access and financial aid guidance to low-income and first-generation students with strong academic potential. We're the program's only funder. We granted $130,000 for this year's class of CMSD's 50 top scholars. As a result, these stellar students have accrued roughly $1.2 million in merit-based financial aid. I would say I'll take that return on investment any day. And I'd like you to meet 6 of these scholastic superstars. So as I call your name, students, please stand and remain standing so we can congratulate you on your hard-earned and well-deserved achievements. First, Santiago Chabrir from Max Hayes High School will attend Case Western Reserve University. Anna Farrow from Cleveland School of Science and Medicine will start at Oberlin College. Anise Bowman from the Cleveland School of Science and Medicine earned the Joan C. Edwards Scholar Award at Case, which means she will get a free ride for not only college, but medical school. What a deal. Janae Hughes from the Cleveland School of Science and Medicine will attend Harvard University. Denisha King from Cleveland School of Architecture and Design will enroll at Cornell University. And last but not least, Long Vu from Early College High School is going to Amherst College. Congratulations to all of you. We're very, very proud of you. To summarize the Foundation's work over the course of the past year, we might borrow a phrase from that classic of American cinema, the movie Ghostbusters, in which, as I recall, somebody screamed, "They're everywhere! They're everywhere!" Indeed, the Foundation really does work in every single area that impacts the lives of our citizens. From economic development to the arts, to every single human service issue, to healthcare, to education, to neighborhood revitalization, to the environment, to social justice. We are so heartened by our ability to engage in such a broad spectrum of activities. Of course, this has only been made possible through the generosity of our donors from 1914 until today. Their gifts, which keep on giving, are what have enabled us to both preserve and advance our most treasured community assets and provide vital support to our city's most underserved citizens simultaneously. In fact, if there's only one thought that I would like to leave you with this afternoon, it is this. While we deservedly rejoice in the magnificent progress the city has made in the past few years, we must never forget that just as the region can never be strong, healthy, or stable without a strong core city, our city cannot be strong, stable, or prosperous without strong residential neighborhoods. Amid the pockets of great prosperity and progress, Cleveland still suffers from a poverty rate 3 times higher than for the region as a whole. Nearly half, the city's children live in poverty, and the city's unemployment rate is almost triple the region's unemployment rate. And we must keep in mind that comparing ourselves to the region is a very low bar. We need to compare ourselves to Silicon Valley and Shanghai. We must bring the same passion to revitalizing Huff, Glenville, Mount Pleasant, Detroit Shoreway, Clark Fulton, and every neighborhood that we channel into downtown, uptown, and midtown. The foundation has been toiling in these vineyards for decades, but even the foundation needs to up its game in the neighborhoods by leveraging our financing, convening powers, political advocacy, and new social intervention tools for even greater impact. Fortunately, we do have a plan, and I'm going to reveal it to you later in the program, after Jane Pauley has so brilliantly set the stage for me. But first, it's time to present our annual Homer C. Wadsworth Award. Homer led the Cleveland Foundation from 1974 to 1983. But that time frame doesn't begin to delineate the scope of his influence, which I still feel every day. It was Homer who recognized that community foundations must move beyond a passive role if they were to become forces for social progress. He once said, quote, "Most of the good things I've seen in foundations come out of the fact that there were some people at a given time, at a given place, who had an idea and some guts," unquote. So it's fitting that we remember Homer on this day when we speak of accomplishment and vision. We're delighted that members of the Wadsworth family are here to remember with us. Our honoree embodies accomplishment and vision. Please join me in saluting our 2013 Homer C. Wadsworth Award recipient, our friend, Art Falco, President and CEO of Playhouse Square. Art, could you come up? Now you can see how short I am. Art joined Playhouse Square as finance director in 1985 and ascended to his present position in 1991. During his tenure, Art has overseen Playhouse Square's expansion from 5 performance spaces to 10 stages, formed a real estate arm, and developed a portfolio of non-theater assets that have helped to revitalize the district and encouraged creative collaborations, resulting in the Idea Center at Playhouse Square, the Hannah Theater renovation, and the Allen Theater reconfiguration that brought Cleveland Playhouse downtown in partnership with Cleveland State University. A quote from his nomination letter summarizes the reason Art was chosen by the committee for this award. Quote, "Leaders like Homer Wadsworth and Art Falco do not come along often. But when they do, we are all the greater for it." Ain't that the truth? Under Homer Wadsworth, the Cleveland Foundation acted at a critical moment to help save the Playhouse Square superblock. Art, you have built on the Playhouse Square legacy brilliantly. So on behalf of a very grateful, obviously very grateful community, thank you and congratulations. Very well deserved. I'm sure that by now, Jane Pauley has convinced you that we all have an opportunity to embrace a new stage of life, something that national Encore career expert Mark Friedman referred to as a second act for the greater good. So I'm thrilled to announce that the Cleveland Foundation's board has charged my staff and me with developing over the next many months a best-in-class, we hope best in the world, Encore Careers program for Cleveland. The goal of the Cleveland Foundation's Encore Careers program is to offer mature Clevelanders, and even immature Clevelanders 50 or above, like me, the opportunity to apply their skills, experience, and to develop and express new passions, while helping to solve problems and serve the needs of the community. Our long-term vision is to make this city a national model in this emerging field. Imagine what we can achieve if we mobilize an army of older but still vital and at the top of their game citizens to help rebuild Cleveland by serving in the public, nonprofit, and even corporate sectors, and hopefully providing particular attention to Cleveland's underserved neighborhoods. This is the plan that I referred to earlier. The Foundation will be excited to share the details of this program in early 2014 as one of our major centennial initiatives. Between now and then, we'd ask that every high-energy senior who's interested in creating an encore career for him or herself in pursuit of a public good, please come forth, join the effort. We need your advice, we need your suggestions, we need your input. We intend to make it easy for you, so please plan to participate in this worthy endeavor. With that, I conclude today's meeting. The next time we meet for this event, we will be celebrating our, and thus the entire Community Foundation Field's centennial. Be with us then. We'll see you then. Until then, thank you very, very much for coming today. I hope you will join us now out in the rotunda for conversation and refreshments. Good afternoon.